Well, folks, I am here near the Brooklyn Bridge with the founder of the Guardian Angels, Curtis Sliwa, and as you can see, receiving much adulation. Curtis, thank you so much for taking some time to talk to us. I know you're very busy with so many admirers. Can I get your take on why there seems to be such a sudden rash of anti-Semitism in New York and New Jersey these days?
Well, it's because our elected officials are feckless and weak, and they won't call it for what it is. It's black anti-Semitism. So if you allow it to fester in the black community and you don't address it, it just continues. And it's been going on for over a year or more. So when it's white, ultra-nationalist, fascist, Ku Klux Klan nutnicks, we also, what happened in San Diego, Pittsburgh, what happened in Charlottesville. But there have been more than a dozen attacks in New York, every one of them by an African American. So you say to yourself, there is a problem with black anti-Semitism, but our politicians, they choke to get that word out of their mouth.
Do you think there's also choking being done by the media? I saw a New York Times op-ed piece on January the 1st, and it said the perpetrators of these attacks were young people. Young people.
Young people. Some are emotionally disturbed, there's no question. But the fact is, the mass majority, they see an Orthodox Jew. They're clearly a Jew because of the garb they wear, and they're attacking them indiscriminately, and they know they can do it in New York City and get away with it. And look, they did it in Jersey City. They went into a kosher grocery store and they shot it up. And then there were some African Americans in the community making excuses for that. Now, that's a shanda. That's a disgrazia, as we would say in the streets.
And the couple that shot it up, I mean, they were in their 40s and 50s. I mean, maybe that's a young person if you're in your 80s and 90s, but that doesn't fit the New York Times narrative of who's doing this either.
No, and they were screwballs and nut jobs, part of a group called the Black Hebrew Israelites, who believe they're the only true Jews and that any Ashkenazi or Sephardic Jew is a fugazi, a fake Jew. Now, let's face it, those guys have all the furniture upstairs and rearranged in the wrong rooms.
Now, Curtis, you are getting active in these Jewish communities, I guess. Do you get a sense that people in the Jewish communities of New York and New Jersey have lost faith, perhaps in law enforcement or at least the justice system? It seems to be an ongoing program of catch and release when they get somebody arrested.
Well, we've had to come to the aid of Jewish communities in the past decades, and each time I come in and I say, Jews, you cannot depend on Gentiles and officials who just come in and patronize you, and the cops who are $1 short and a day late. You got to fight back. You have to get physical. You have to get proactive. You have to form your own patrols, and if anyone comes into your neighborhood looking to give any Jew a hard time, they got to leave getting a therapeutic back massage and sucking concrete so that they let every other anti-Semite know, if you go into that area where the Jews are, you are going to get a hell of a hard time. You may not even get out with all your pieces attached.
And Curtis, would you recommend to people living in these communities, especially people who are obviously visibly Jewish, that maybe they have to carry a weapon in order to defend themselves?
Well, we as Guardian Angels, we don't carry any weapons, but I'm certainly not going to interfere with a person's right to carry a gun if they legally can do so, or other weapons. You have to do what you have to do to defend yourself, because if you depend on Gentiles, you could be in the dirt. They'll be giving you a dirt bath while the politicians come and give you a pretty speech and patronize you, because they're doing nothing to protect the Jews. So the Jews have to protect themselves. You have a good example in Israel. In Israel, the Jews are tough. They don't take it from any of their enemies. If you come into Israel looking to start a problem, you're going to have a double problem before you leave.
And tell me, Curtis, what is your relationship right now with the New York Police Department? I mean, did they turn a blind eye, or are they against your tactics, or how does it work?
No, we work with the police, but their philosophy is see something, say something. Now, are you kidding? So if I see some anti-Semite attacking a Jew, I'm supposed to call 911. Are you kidding? And get arthritis and rheumatism waiting for them to get there? No, my first action as a citizen, a guardian angel, a good Samaritan, physically interject, take that suspect down, hold them until the police arrive, and then follow it through the criminal justice system.
Now, Curtis, there are lots of fans here. The people are cheering you on. Curtis, you founded the Guardian Angels back in 1979. How has New York changed from 1979 to 2020?
Well, it was changing for the better. When Rudy Giuliani was elected mayor, he gave the city a badly needed colonic. Bloomberg became the next mayor. He kept pace with the improvements of the Giuliani years. And the moment Comrade Bill de Blasio, the part-time mayor, the dope from Park Slope, got into office, he didn't see the homeless. He didn't see the emotionally disturbed. He ignored the crime. He cooked the books. And now, with this rash of anti-Semitism, he's a dollar short and a day late. He just is hopelessly in a drug-induced psychosis. He doesn't have a grip on it because he can't call it for what it is: black anti-Semitism.
So is this just political correctness run amok, and that we can't? I mean, how do we fix this problem, Curtis, if we can't even honestly discuss it?
Well, it's a question of what are the Jews going to do for themselves. Because if you have to depend on Cuomo or de Blasio, who just want to blame Trump for everything, and Trump has absolutely nothing to do with this, then you're left to your own means. And if you don't organize and fight back, well, then anti-Semites are going to see you as being perpetually weak, feckless, and victims. And Jews can no longer be victims. They have to show their assailants and the anti-Semites out there, you come looking for a Jew, we're going to run you out of this neighborhood. And more importantly, it may well physically be detrimental to your health.